Is that good for you guys? Is that good? She's a little shy princess. Somebody actually sent me Resident Evil 8 before I had a chance to pre-order it. Somebody on Patreon who I'll give his name during the stream. Looks good. Yes. Hi, princess. Now, I'm not going to tell her what to do. She's going to move around in her cage as she wants. So if you guys don't always see her, you're just not going to see her. It's basically how it's going to go. Bigger, please. Is that okay? You did see Summertime Saga. I was actually going to play that for patrons. Not on here. I wish... I like having an account. She's going to hide behind her cactus, so... Hold on, I'll be right... Hold on. Sorry. Oh! You got a bit of popcorn there, guys. I hope you're hungry. Kisa's bringing you some popcorn. Is that some popcorn? You guys got a little bit of popcorn. Maybe if you're good, she'll give you some more. You gotta ask her nicely for that second. Good night, Matt. Good luck on your driving test, Matt. Let's see. And where else do I go to drink? Tuesdays are karaoke and Wednesdays improv. Usually, it's these four guys who did hilarious games. The one with Irish drinking songs are always a crowd favorite. Oh, I know what they're referencing. Though I love a good laugh, stand-up comedy isn't my thing. And without Cam or Haruna, or any other distractions, I end up drinking a lot more this time. And when there's several bottles of beer in me, I get really, really embarrassing.
Hey! G! Psst! G, come over here! I need you for something!
It's a good thing that the bartender is a nice fella. I'd probably have been kicked out of the place by now or worse. If push comes to shove, all he would do is give me an easy smile and shake his head, even when he's attending to other customers. Just like now.
Give me a moment, will ya? I gotta go check on her.
He's some Asian guy. And I'm pretty sure I've seen him before a couple of times, although he never talks to anyone except G. The girls used to be all over him too, but he always turned them away.
I'll be here. You go do that before she falls over.
All right, all right. What is it? Do you need someone to help you get home?
Bartender, pour the wine!
She a horny bitch.
I think that's enough alcohol for you, little missy. I'm cutting you off.
A whine comes from the back of my throat as he pulls my bottle away. I have no hope of getting them back once they're behind the counter. Even in my drunken mind, I don't dare hop over it for them. Because what little sense I have left knows I'd sooner take a floor dive than succeed in wresting a bottle from the sober man. But that doesn't stop me from trying to reach out with my arms like a stupid idiot anyway. He smiles and shakes his head, just like I knew he would, before going back to the other guy.
Right now, where were we? How you holding up, boy?
With no drink and no one to really chat with, I would have gone home, or gone to sleep, on the bar right then and there. But I'm not ready to stand up and try to trek back home just yet.
Same old, same old. I'm still on the Luxborn firm case.
Those blokes they talk about being in dark suits, whisking people into the night or some shit and all that. Didn't the media call it some ridiculous name in the morning news?
What is it this time? Wait, don't answer that. They've called it a lot of things. As long as people don't start running around claiming they're the Illuminati. So, what have you got for me this time, G? Anything good?
Slow down there. You haven't even told me what sort of dealing dosh we got. Who are you looking into this time?
Their talk would have interested me, would have kept my attention if I gave a damn. But in my current state, I can barely give two fucks about the things going on around me. All those words are just buzzing, barely surfacing from the sea of sounds that is a pub. Say that 3 times fast. And it would have stayed that way, perhaps even drowned, if didn't hear his name.
Luke Wright. You know the guy. And don't pretend like you don't, G. It takes a special kind of ignorant not to know who he is.
That smug blonde who likes throwing round his money. He was just here a few days ago, as a matter of fact. Great tipper, if you think him just dumping a wad of cash on the counter after having too much whiskey counts as tipping. Why are you asking? He dirty?
You have no idea, G. He's probably the worst sort you can imagine.
Luke fucking Wright. Fucking whiskey. Even without him around, I'm still hearing about the guy. About the absolute fuck. Despite this, I find myself getting up and sauntering over to join them before I pipe up. Welcome.
Is this smack talk about Luke fucking Wright I'm hearing, eh?
I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Sorry, guys. You should be able to see the lovely art. You know what? Let's move her over here, since there's never really anything over here. Kisa gets a little bit of an upgrade tonight.
Private conversation here, lady.
There's only amusement on G's face. The something did not want to sit well. The Asian guy, he starts to look ticked off as hell.
Don't worry, Holmes, she's clean. And she might be able to help you with your, predicament.
Course. A drunk's just stumbled through here with what I need. Get real, G. No offense, lady, but you're smashed.
I know, right? Nothing beats being drunk after a hard day's work. Especially when you're working for Mr. Luke Wright.
So, she works for the guy? Doesn't that make her, I don't know, suspect?
See, have a little faith in me, why don't ya? I don't have much, and you might as well have something to go off. You're the one who was so desperate to come running to me for business.
Yoo-hoo! Still right here, fellas. 5'11", can't miss me. Unlike Shorty over here. What's with that mad look? You want to dance, boy? You don't look like you can bust a groove. Maybe a leg, but with that fancy coat of yours.
He's Asian, why does he have blue eyes? Might be mixed. To add insult to injury, I moved directly behind him and used the top of his head as an armrest. I don't want to admit I have people that have done that to me. But when he shakes me off, I plop into a seat right next to him.
Don't try me. You can hardly stay on your feet. We don't want to ruin your fancy coat, do we?
Ah, children, the both of ya. But you're still standing after all that, are ya? Matt, you see this giantess? She's a legendary regular here. Been treated like there's no tomorrow.
I mean, she is Irish.
I'm a bit jealous. Can't do that anymore or my liver will give out on me. Good with the mic, too. Don't see you much recently, but I guess you're always busy, aren't you? You're some fancy designer or something, if I remember correctly.
Wait, I know you. You were at the open house for the mansion.
Yeah, that's right. Marianne McCulloch. I'm a famous interior designer extraordinaire. Ooh, that rhymes. Anyway, you guys were talking about that weenie Luke Wright, right?
Or something. Can't really talk about it. I don't even know if I can trust you, even if G said you're clean. But anything would be of help.
She's hiding in her cactus. You guys made her shy. Look at that. You can kind of see her hiding in the cactus.
Well, I don't gossip about my clients, if that's all there is to this.
You wanted to gossip about him a few minutes ago, Marianne.
And that was the beer talking, not Marianne.
You won't mind if we ask the beer a few questions then?
Maybe. Depends on who's asking and what they're asking. But seriously, that guy is abso-fucking-lutely frustrating. One moment, he's an absolute dickhead. And then he's acting like an actual decent human being the next. I just can't figure him out. I can't imagine how that pretty wife of his can put up with him. If I were her, I'd dump his flat arse straight up.
I mean, you're not wrong. I probably would have said the same thing to her. And I'm not just saying that because I think Hana's pretty or anything. Luke is a catch too. They both are. But I really cannot, for the love of all things holy, see how they can even work out together.
So, Luke Wright, have you noticed anything strange about him while you were working with him? Anything peculiar? Of note?
You're the one being peachy right about now, Holmes. But nah, nothing that comes to mind off the top of my head. He's just like most rich, smarmy arseholes and then some.
A giggle bubbles up, and I press my cheek against the cool countertop with my eyes shut tight, just because. Eventually cracking one open just in case they thought I fell asleep. I grin at Holmes.
So, Holmes, I'm guessing you're some private detective or something. Is it Hannah? Did she pay you to look if he's been cheating or some such?
Hana's the wife, right? What about her? How is she?
How is she or how is she? Well and good. Definitely the nicer of the two and sexiest sin to boot. Not a private detective then? Are you from one of them tabloids wanting to know if the Luke Wright doesn't know how to put his pants on right? Pants. I'd take the pants off of...
And here we go. Slipping. I haven't been this drunk in such a long time. It's a miracle I've been coherent for as long as I have been right now.
I'm asking you if you've noticed any odd behavior from her.
Odd behavior... What? I wonder how she'd be drunk. I can just imagine her like the giggly sort. What do you think?
These are serious questions, Marianne. Lives might just be at stake here.
What do you expect? She's smashed.
Why am I even doing this? This is getting me nowhere, G. She's not a reliable source. The chief, let alone the courts, aren't going to take the word of a drunk. This will be dismissed, and I might be in trouble if they try to argue that I coerced a testimony out of her. This is a fucking train wreck.
You're a fucking train wreck now, if you ask me.
Okay, everybody for the bartender being awesome.
Maybe it's about time you apply the brakes and stop for a bit.
The wave of despair that comes over the both of them is palpable. Palpable? Whatever. If feelings had a taste, it'd be bitterer than the beer I'm full of. And it gets me thinking, though. Thinking doesn't get me far with too much shite in my system.
You know that's not an option.
Hello, everyone that's just joining us.
Thanks for being patient, McCullough. Good luck with your work on that mansion.
Flower Gundam.
Speaking of that mansion, there's something going on in that place. Something. As och day! No wonder Mr. Wright likes it so much. It's as fishy as he is. Rotten bloke. Maybe that Santos girl is really onto something, eh? Suspicious shite, I'm telling ya. Explains why she's so reluctant.
What do you mean that Santos girl is onto something?
Before I get another word out, there's hands on my shoulders and everything starts to spin. I quickly slap his hand away the best I can and send him the foulest look I can muster.
Take your hands off me, pipsqueak. I'm not a lady who's shaken or stirred unless you want me up-chucking on your pretty hair. But it's just like I said. Are you sure you aren't brain damaged or deaf? Santos girl from BRC showed us this creepy letter. You know, just like those spam stuff you get in your emails. And we thought it was some joke or that the girl was just a bit too green to handle a big sale like that. You should have seen the look on their faces when they saw it. whiskey. That's Luke fucking Wright, you get me? And the missus didn't look too happy either. I should have taken a picture and posted it everywhere. When rich snobs give you that face, no wonder the Santos girl went all mental on us. Working with them does that, you know? I think I'm about to. I'm not mental yet, am I? Anyway, just like I said, in that man... Hey, you okay? Holmes? You're looking a bit shaky yourself there.
And he really is pale. Paler than before, at least. I can see the gears turning in his head on overtime. Suddenly, he shoves a card in my hand. On it, his name, Ashton Frey, and his number. But he has second thoughts as he grabs it from me and slips it into his pocket. Hold on, who's that? I broke Aurora.
You're cute, pretty boy. But I prefer blondies.
Okay, chill, I'm streaming.
Well, you're not exactly my type either, lady. But listen to me. If something comes up, don't do anything rash. If you think you're in danger or if you see anything suspicious, call me and the authorities as soon as possible. You understand me? That's 99...
I know what the damn emergency number is.
Right, 999. Good. Anyway, I have to run. See you, G.
The guy is quick on his feet, already up and at him as soon as the numbers leave his lips. Watching him as he maneuvers through the crowd of other pub-goers is enough to tire me out. Fast as he can, he's at the door and throws us a smile, and that's all we get before he's gone, just like that.
Oi, what about your drink, boy? I'll go put it on your tab then.
Holmes boy always like that, G?
Pretty much. But what about you? I suppose I'll put your drinks on your tab too. Don't want you to spill your wallets when you look like you're close to spilling yourself.
Yeah, and if it's fine by you, I think I'll go take a bit of a cat nap here. Just for a sec or two.
Go right ahead. I'll wake you when I close up shop.
That's a good bartender. Mumbling a sleepy thanks, I doze up on the spot, face pressed against the counter. Already I dread the pain I'll have for sleeping in such a position. But when you gotta go, you gotta go. Oh God, they've returned.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie? Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite. Unless you ask, that is.
Not that I can get much sleep to begin with. Do people ever have the feeling that they're working on something they really enjoy, but still, it eventually tires them out? Because honestly, I've been feeling like this.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Though moments like these make all the hard work worth it. Definitely.
Well, I can't take all the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned.
Kisa, are you sleeping? Oh, guys, I think the guinea pig cam didn't work. I think Kisa's sleeping in her bed. Do you guys want me to put the guinea pig cam in the bed?
I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
We're only about halfway done, but the honest satisfaction on a client's face is enough for me to push through. Let's face it, in between my exasperation at Mr. Wright's antics and her, I've been burning the candle at both ends. I can't even close my eyes without seeing a dead girl's face. Dead girl. Dead. She's dead. I have to keep reminding myself that burying my feelings as deep as they've buried her body, 6 feet under. I shouldn't waste so much time on someone who's supposed to be gone. I've wasted so many years thinking about her already. There should be no need to bother myself with the dead when I should be bothering myself with the living. Too bad, the living are usually as complicated, if not more, than ghosts of the past.
But don't you have a party?
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
It's even more complicated when the living in question is a pair of rich, famous socialites, way past their honeymoon phase. I've been somehow roped into being a relationship counselor.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband. But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
It's not exactly hidden.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives.
Why she thinks a single woman like me would be the best source of relationship advice is beyond me. Still, I talk and answer to the best of my ability. Without realizing it, I'm already pouring out a part of me that I thought were long gone. I'd like to believe my words will be of some help to Miss Wright. If I'm honest, though, they are of some help to me. Like some weight has been taken off my shoulders. Lorraine.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
The weight of what happened to her hasn't left me yet, did it? Maybe.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
Maybe it's about time I change that.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
Though I shouldn't dwell on the dead. I shouldn't just callously forget about them, too. Oh, you're awake. She is awake. Saying that I have work left to do is an easy enough excuse to make. I know how others people see me. They see me as someone so obsessed with her craft that she would so easily miss things like a party for it. Outside the parlor, people hurry about here and there in preparation for the Wrights' grand housewarming party. None spare me a glance as I slip past them, each working on their appointed roles and not daring to slack off while they work for what is probably the most powerful couple in Luxbourne. I make it into the kitchen with ease, the wine cellar being my final destination. But when is a great task ever simple? Oh, probably never. And this is the great task, isn't it? My greatest one yet that is worthy of being called a quest. I'm not acting as Marianne McCullough, the professional interior designer, when I chose to lie about being too busy for a party. I'm Marianne McCullough, a lawful neutral cleric with a 9 points in wisdom and 8 points in charisma. Just thinking of it like that makes it a bit cheesy. But it helps with the fear. It helps overcome the insane thought that I'm actively seeking out something that has been plaguing me for years. I might face my worst nightmare, or I might see nothing and find myself imagined grand quest fall flat. And who would have thought that the gatekeeper to my final quest would be someone I thought would be a valuable ally?
Schnell! Hurry up, you snails! We are on a deadline and you are wasting my time!
The butler comes from the cellar and into the kitchen, tailed by a couple of other people who I assume are most likely chefs and bartenders. He raises a brow, seeing me just standing there, by the hatch, by the trap door. It almost looks like he's going to throw me out for being in the kitchen without permission. But then he motions for the others to disappear and familiarize themselves with their surroundings. Meanwhile, he continues to stand there, preventing entry to the darkness beyond.
What are you doing here, Fraulein? This is not the place for guests or in an architect right now. I request you leave.
I was just looking around for any last-minute things, yes?
Yes, you have been doing that a lot. Looking around, snooping about. Now is not the time for such things. If you're not careful, people might think you are up to something.
The look he gives me as he's saying this is almost chilling. If life was a game book, he'd probably be the true neutral warlock guarding the treasure room. A difficult opponent to beat with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in dexterity.
Well, I'm not done yet. I actually need to go into the wine cellar. Just need a quick go at the place. So just don't mind me. I'll be out of your hair soon enough.
Go outside, enjoy the party. Bask in the praise and adulation they will no doubt shower you with when the madam speaks highly of you. Surely you've had enough of this stuffy old kitchen by now. You do not want to cause trouble. Both the bratwurst and Hannah want this to be perfect. It would be a disservice and disrespect to toe out of line and risk it being anything otherwise. And more importantly, I will be blamed for any failure that happens tonight.
His intervention almost turns me away. Maybe this is a sign I'm not meant to seek Lorraine out. But
Please, it's really important.
15 minutes. 9, 10 minutes. Any longer and I'll pull you out of there myself. The bratwurst will be furious if he thinks anyone is touching his precious wine without his permission.
Thank you. This seriously means a lot.
he steps aside begrudgingly. At this point, it looks like there's no turning back. The cellar greets me ominously as I descend. The space feels smaller, with a lot more bottles lining the wall compared to before, and knowing that might be what might be waiting for me makes things worse. The mirror that had been moved from the study is my goal. I did not return to it after my initial discovery, but the thought of Lorraine, how much I wanted to see her again, even if it's just for one more time, keeps me coming back to mind. As I walk through the cellar, I have to stop when I feel something crunch beneath my feet. Whatever few bottles left behind here are nothing but glass under my heel. Perhaps dropped by one of the many chefs and bartenders the butler had escorted through here before. And it made a downright mess with red slick pooling from the remnants of a good drink. With how dark this place is, a person with a dark enough imagination can easily mistake it for blood. I can't help but think it is, despite the easy logical explanation that had come to my mind only because of what I'm about to do. It's merely a momentary distraction as I continue to the end of the cellar where the mirror stands. You unsubscribed? Propped up on a far wall, it gleams innocently while pretending to be simple and ordinary mirror. However morbid to think this thing can show a person their deepest, most desperate desires, then twist it into the image so dark, but it showed me the option to follow. That's weird. Maybe it glitched. That's what I had seen that day. Though I had heard Lorraine many times, I had only seen her here within its frame. I wonder if people have discovered it before. How many were wasted away in front of it, enamored, and how many were frightened away by what they saw. Yet, as I stand before it now, nothing. I can barely see my own reflection in this darkness.
How does this even work? Mirror, mirror on the wall? Something? Anything?
Nothing. Touching its surface doesn't make it magically activate or anything like that. There's no sudden surge of power, and I'm not suddenly granted sight. It stays what it is, a mirror. Was Lorraine's appearance in the mirror all some sort of fever dream? Am I really that burdened with guilt and despair that my mind would eat itself in my stress and have me hallucinate such a thing? Either way, just going here on some crazed obsession for a girl long gone must warrant me a trip to a doctor. Already I feel ill. After a few more minutes, in the hopes that something would change, I turn around to leave. I can just go back upstairs like nothing ever happened. Perhaps drop by the party for some hors d'oeuvre. I probably said that wrong. Then go home and collect myself. Besides, Miss Wright is expecting me, and I'm...
Going to leave me again then, are you?
Who the hell keeps DMing me? Sorry. I stop in my tracks, but I don't turn back. Hors d'oeuvres. I can't fucking read. I got hors d'oeuvres wrong. I'm smart. As much as it pains me, I don't look back. If I'm just hearing her again, desperately delusional, and I look back to see nothing, I don't want to give myself false hope. Blame the French. We usually do. But when I feel fingers around my waist pull at me, I look back in shock. My first thought is, how in God's name is this possible? And the second is Lorraine. Her hands are cold.
Are you that mad at me that you're just going to ignore me, Marianne?
I don't know what to say, and I can only stare at her in wonder. She stands there, in the mirror, with only her arms extended outwards for my sake. I look at the hand still holding my waist, and when she sees me looking at it, she moves it so that our hands are intertwined, fingers weave together. Seeing her there and feeling her touch meant I'm not crazy, though however impossible and unexplainable this is all to me right now. It just takes my breath away. Twitch is weird. Pulling her out from there is tempting. I can imagine doing so with ease. We can be together again, Lorraine and Marianne, like nothing had ever happened. But that would be all a great lie, wouldn't it?
What? Pack out your tongue? Don't just look at me like that. Say something.
Even if this thing were some magical portal that could bring back the dead, that doesn't erase anything. Just looking at her, still a young teenager, while I'm already a grown woman, still serves no other reason than to break the illusion that blinds me. I've seen her twice now, always behind the mirror. If this is real, if this isn't some delusion, then why can she only exist behind the glass?
Yeah. You have no idea how happy I am to see you. It's been so long.
You don't look happy.
I really am happy. But at the same time, I can't help but think about what happened. To you.
And what does that mean? What are you saying?
She gives me this peculiar look. And before my eyes, she moves a step out of the mirror. In turn, I wrench my hands from her and take a step back, almost as if I'm afraid.
I don't know how this is possible. But whatever this is, it isn't real. You can't be real.
I'm right here, aren't I? What other proof do you need?
No, I see you. I hear you. I feel you. But even with all that, you can't be real. You just can't. I saw your body. I helped bury you. You're dead.
A deep hurt crosses her face, and it just breaks my heart in two seeing her wear that expression.
Burying me wasn't the only thing you did. Don't you dare lie. But I'm going to be the bigger woman, aren't I? Let bygones be bygones. I'll forgive you, as long as you stay with me, Marianne.
Squeak, squeak.
That's why you came down here, right? To find me?
That was the plan, and that smile makes me think she's about to go psychotic. I came down here looking for her, for closure. But this isn't just closure. This is something else entirely. I didn't think I would be forced to make this choice. Alright, guys, you get to choose. We have two choices here. Do you need to move on, or do you want to stay? I'm gonna let the chat room choose. It's up. Excuse me, there is something not agreeing with me tonight. Move on, stay. Da na 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 na. Alright, so stay is the first choice we're gonna make. We are gonna go back and use move on. I really do want to stay with her. I'm getting tired of pretending, of lying to myself. And the fact that I'm admitting this to myself now, of all times, only brings to light how Lorraine was right about me all along. I should have listened to her.
But, Lorraine, you're dead. How can we even stay together?
I know. And it's your fault, isn't it? You tore us apart.
It begins!
But now, you can put us back together again.
And now that I have the choice to fix what I had done to us, then who am I to do otherwise?
I'm so sorry. I must look like a right mess.
I'm here, Em. I'm here now, don't you worry. Come here.
It takes everything I have not to tear up at the sight of her. She reaches out and slips her fingers through mine, pulling me away from the tunnel and towards the mirror. Our reflection, a grown woman and a teenage barely past her prime, lends a bizarre light to this whole scene.
I can't imagine how you've been so alone all these years. I left you, Lorraine. I didn't mean to, but that's what I did. I don't even know if you can ever forgive me.
Don't cry. Doesn't suit your pretty face. Besides, I don't have to be alone anymore, do I? You're here for me, aren't you? You'll never leave me again, will you?
My mouth goes dry as she looks at me. That isn't the plan. This isn't closure. Yet her hand in mine makes me believe that this is real. She's real, and that's all that matters, nothing else.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't dare leave you.
You swear you won't leave me?
I swear to God, I won't, Lorraine.
Through her smile remains, I can only describe her expression as sad. She walks around until she stands just behind me, wraps her arms around my waist, and I nearly crumble with how I am in her arms once more. And when she puts her chin in the crook of my neck, and I feel her hot breath on my neck, I'm filled with both joy and grief. The scent of chocolate almonds, honey, and beer surround me. My first taste of love. The love that I denied. It had been so bittersweet.
God's not the only one you're making promises to, Marianne. Swear it to me. Or, even better, prove it to me.
I'll stay forever with you, Lorraine. I swear it to you. How do I even prove it to you?
Simple.
She presses something into my hand. It's a large glass shard from a wine bottle, cold and
You
sharp.
join me.
Yep. Is she suggesting that I...
Die for me.
Yep.
Lorraine! That's... How can I?
How can I even do such a thing?
There's no need to be scared. I'll be here for you until the end, Marianne. Even if you hadn't done the same for me. But that's the only way I can forgive you. The only way we can be together again.
Damn! Didn't think they had going to animate that. She guides my hand, raising the glass shard. My own hands are weak, as is my will, and I can only bear my neck to do it with as she wishes. There is no reason, no self-preservation, as I mindlessly welcome my own death, as if it will lead me to salvation. I feel nothing at first, other than the glass touching my skin like a caress, until a stinging sensation blooms from my neck. The pain sears and burns like nothing I felt before, and every breath intensifies the feeling. Even if I wanted to cry out and scream, I can only cough as a slick, metallic taste coats my tongue. The most I can do beyond that is a rasp out, calling for her name.
Lorraine...
Cold and weak, I grow worse by the second. I cough with each ragged breath, expelling the blood that I'm inhaling through my slit throat.
Shush now. It'll be over soon. Really soon.
There is a moment of doubt as I remember that the devil was once the most beautiful angel in heaven, that I shouldn't be deceived by such beauty. But my final moment, all of that is soon forgotten. My mouth twitches. I can't muster even the smallest of smiles anymore. But I'll be with Lorraine. Y'all fucked up. You've unlocked a memory fragment. Well, that's something new. Now, before we continue with this, let's see what happens if we pick the other one. Closure. That's all I came here for. Whatever this is, it might as well all be just a devil's trick. And I might as well make some use of it, right? I say nothing at first, for fear of angering whatever phantom this is. I take Lorraine's hand and bring it up to my lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. She takes it as some sort of invitation to pull me along, to step back into the mirror until her arms are extended again.
I should have been more honest back then, both to you and myself. I know it's too late. I'm sorry. But
the thought of being with the dead did not agree with me. Not one bit.
I can't stay with you.
So what? You're going to leave me for some old trophy wife? That's it, isn't it? You're going to leave poor Amy Lorraine and go after the next rich, pretty blonde that you see.
This is a mistake.
All these years, guilt has been my driving force. I felt so guilty for what I did, what I didn't do.
She thinks she can guilt me into being complacent, but she realizes otherwise as I pull my hand from her. And, going by the look of anger on her face, an anger that runs cold, she did not like the fact that I'm not some puppet on a string. Had she chosen her words carefully, I would have accepted whatever punishment Lorraine chose to give me. Guilt had run my life, and it might have even very well ended it. because I deserved it.
But what I did to me. The blood in my hands is mine, not yours.
Whoever or whatever this shadow is, my gut tells me she's not Lorraine. Yet, I keep talking as if she is.
I broke your heart, not your neck.
Don't you dare deny it! It was your fault!
Because I loved you more than I dared to admit? Yes, that was my fault. But I never meant to hurt you like that.
Despite my words, no matter how sincere they are, she appears angry, enraged in fact. It's been years since I last saw that face, and even now, the memory of it is still etched deeply in my mind. The hurt, the tears, the hate spilling from her eyes that day, the moment I rejected her. Rejected myself for who I am. And she definitely will hate what I am about to do next. To my left, a wine rack. And from there, I take a bottle and pray to all the saints I can remember. For all of my sins. For every hurtful word I've uttered. For what I have driven her to do that day. For what I forced her into.
What are you doing?
I do it without thinking twice. Quickly, before I can hesitate, I grab a bottle and send it straight towards the mirror. Shards of the bottle and the mirror are sent flying everywhere as Lorraine's scream echoes in the cellar. Bitter, searing, like every wounding accusation she hurled at me. They've never left me. I doubt they ever will. But with this, I can move away from them, from her, live my life as I should, free from the burden, her burden. Because the Lorraine I know, the real one, the person I loved, will never want me carrying this to my death. As the screaming dies down, I can't help but mutter weakly,
It's done. It's done. Oh, Lorraine. Forgive me, Lorraine.
Forgive her? You forgive her, Kisa? Kisa says no. I take some time to compose myself, breathing in and out, stamping down on the tremor still racking my hands. Thank you to the person who texted me. Straightening out my jacket and fixing my hair. All a weak attempt to return myself to someone resembling my normal self. This would probably be easier to do so with a mirror, but I likely won't be able to stand looking at one for a long time.
Well, now, I should probably go back up there. Party to attend, rich socialites to do business with, and food to eat. Mrs. Wright will be happy if I make some time for it anyway.
Yet one last time, to the shattered glass beneath my feet.
I'm sorry, Lorraine. May you see God's light on the path.
Turning around to leave for good this time, the uneasy smile on my face falls as I see Lorraine whole and well.
Come on, Mac. You really didn't think it would be that easy, did you? You get bonus points for trying. But you should know innate charisma is not enough to turn undead.
She advances toward me, backs me against the wall. I can't even reach for another bottle of wine without putting myself within her reach. Despite my earlier bravado, I didn't think she'd be able to exist at all without the mirror. Can you blame me, though? It's not like I'm an expert on the supernatural.
That's not... You shouldn't be...
What? After the mirror? Did you think just moving on will erase what you did to me? You're nothing but a murderer, Marianne. A murderer!
Stay back. You're not real. Leave me alone. Stop! I'm trying to move on with my life, so why won't you let me? Please! Just get out of my head and leave me be!
I try to find an exit when there's a click. The next thing I know, I'm falling back into darkness. I fall on my back and a door slams shut behind me. In a daze, I look around wearily and find myself in another room entirely. On the other side of the wall, some sort of secret passage, perhaps, an underground tunnel that has me wary and frightened. It also proves the oddities of the mansion's floor plans are a lot more than just little discrepancies. I expect Lorraine to jump out at me from the darkness at any time. A breeze blowing through the tunnel has me relieved, though, at the idea that there is still a way to escape should that happen. That is way better than being trapped underground with only God knows what that was. A funny thoughts come to mind, and I start walking to where the exit might be. I think about how Miss Wright would be so disappointed if I didn't show up to the party. I imagine how furious Mr. Wright would be for breaking one of his wine bottles. Even Johann's reaction comes to mind, though I don't really know with that guy. One thing's for sure is that this would be calling Cam and Haruna for a drink as soon as I get out of here. That noise has me wary. A ghostly thing, a corpse of a woman, leans on a wall. Her arms and limbs are almost an inch length. An inch of her lithe body is prepped with wounds and rotten flesh. And it is then that the putrid smell of blood and gore hits me, making it so that I don't even question how I missed it in the first place.
How long has this been here? Oh, that smell! Oh, you're a nasty one, aren't you?
I flinch as the thing twitches. And as soon as it opens its eyes and looks at me with a smile, there's nothing in my mind but horror. I break into a run. I try to keep on running, no matter how much my legs and feet scream at me to stop. I keep going, even when I look back and see nothing but her anymore, because I can still hear her. The scampering of her feet, the words she tries to form with her bloody mouth, and the painful sounds of bones grinding against each other as she moves closer and closer.
How long are these damn tunnels?
There's a split second where I know that thing is right behind me, a strange sensation creeping over my limbs when her presence looms over me. Then suddenly, I can't even do anything before I'm yanked by the hair and pulled back. Still, I struggle up until I'm thrown to the side like some rag doll. I hit the ground on my side. The musty smell of old hay that reaches me is my only indication that I'm still alive.
Please don't hurt me!
My body hurts, and I keep my eyes shut tight, afraid of what might happen next.
What's wrong, Marianne?
Are you really afraid of little old me?
There's only dread, seeing how she followed me even here. She looms over me, backs me further in the cell that I was thrown in.
Please. It's so cold. I don't want to be alone, Marianne. Why won't you stay with me? Why would you leave me? Why?
What are you?
Lorraine turns and shifts into the thing from before. And with that same gruesome grin, it takes a step forward towards the cell. Towards me. I barely scramble to my knees when the door to the cell shut and it just stands there staring. Shouts for help ring out in the tunnels. But none of them are coming from me. I'm more paralyzed and shocked by what is happening. My throat tightens at being fooled by the image of Lorraine, at the thought of being trapped down here. So then, where?
Help me! Help me! Oh, help me! Are you getting all this on camera, Carl?
Girl!
Yeah, but are you guys sure this is a good idea? We're breaking and entering here. Don't worry, the owners of this place haven't been here in a long time.
writing in blood like some cheesy 80s horror prop. Wait, I have an idea. Oh man, that's genius!
What kind of butthead would even take this thing seriously? Maybe we can stick this in Rowan's backpack. That's where his kid would panic.
Guys? Guys? What? Spit it out! Behind you!
There in the corner of the cell, a digital camera flickering to life, and a video has played back on the screen. It was hard to even consider paying any attention to it when my life is on the line. But when the ghost doesn't move and the teenagers mockingly shouts of help me filled the cell, I just had to watch. And what I had seen, students judging by their Saint Garati uniforms, they were holding...
That letter!
And that thing, the woman, she... So we have a bit of a piece now. But we're go ahead and look at some relationships. Oh, Marianne's actually got pretty high with Luke right now. Doing good. Anna's doing okay. We're gonna be doing Isabel next. So we have quite a new stuff. I don't want to spoil too much of it, so we're going to look at that next time. But we are going to move on to the next game. So I hope you guys did enjoy this week's trip into the letter.